All right. My name's Thomas McCollum. I'm the executive director of Discovery Place, and I'm honored to get to sit with my friend Gabby, one of the founders of Discovery Place. Gabby, I've known you for about 10 years now, and we've talked about this for quite a few years, like trying to get some of the history and how all this happened in the first place. And we're finally getting to sit down and do it, so I'm excited, man.
Me too.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your own alcoholism and recovery?
Sure, be glad to, Thomas. I was raised in a loving home. I'm was one of the fortunate ones, I guess you'd say that most people that wind up uh, alcoholics or drug addicts, they have some of it in their family somewhere, or being raised in it or around it, and I wasn't. I was raised with a loving family, and we were very poor. Didn't have electricity. We was 10 years old, and I think we got inside plumbing when I was a freshman in high school, between my freshman and sophomore year. But there was a lot of love, and you know you. Unfortunately, we can't love somebody enough for them not to turn out to be alcoholic. I had I have a illness. It's called alcoholism, and when I put alcohol in my body, a phenomenon of craving hits me like it doesn't everybody, and so I wound up destroying trying to destroy it, and I wasn't trying to, but destroying myself and everybody around me. And on December 11th, 1986. I looked in the mirror and I couldn't stand the man that was in the mirror. As a matter of fact, I'd quit shaving in the mirror because I couldn't stand to look at the man in the mirror. I was shaving in the shower. And in December of 1986, December 11th, I looked a man in the mirror and he looked back at me and said, "You're one worthless piece of human flesh. Your wife and children would be better off without you." And I knew then I only had two places to go, and that was either 6 feet under or on the way up, one or the other. And I got checked into a treatment center facility, and I fell in love with 12-step program immediately. And I never thought it or whatever. It was some people say this works if we work it. I look at it as an opportunity. I've never felt like it was work because the fruits of sobriety is so much more than the pain of. Some people say it's hard to get sober. I never felt like it was. It was easy, a lot easier than. It's easier the line and everything we have to do, the covering up, looking over your shoulder when you're drinking and doing stuff you shouldn't be doing, and it was. This is easy for me compared to that.
Yeah.
And so I submerged myself in a 12-step program, and I fell in love with it, and it's the most spiritual way to live I've ever known, and and today I sponsor people. I'm very involved in the program, and I still am. Been sober 38 years now, just almost 38 years. I'm not gonna give myself about a month away, but I'm not gonna I still do it one day at a time.
Yeah.
And that's easier. It's so much easier to stay sober one day at a time than it is to stay sober the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I just stay sober one day at a time, and it's given me a life beyond my wildest dream. And I think probably if I was gonna sum it up in one word, what the program has given me, besides getting my family back together, we're all loving on one another now, just like yours is. I happen to know you,
Yeah.
watched you do the same thing with your growing family, and my family is so close together. But if I was going to sum it up in one word, it's peace. If I couldn't have peace in my life, I wouldn't be doing what I do. And there's just nothing in the world. If I've got peace, I'm a rich man.
Yeah. I think in some ways maybe that's what I was always looking for with the drink or the drug in my case. I don't know. Do you remember, just out of curiosity, do you remember when you started drinking, how old you were?
Oh yeah, I was. I remembered like it was yesterday. I first time I got drunk, it was on. I was drinking moonshine whiskey, and my brother and his best friend, myself and my best friend, we were. I was in the seventh grade, and we stole some moonshine whiskey from my brother's best friend was a bootlegger over here in Fairview, not far from where we are right now, and we stole the whiskey, played hooky from school, and Thomas, I tell you what, I'd always been small from my age, and I loved sports. I wanted to compete so much, and I think most people that suffer from this disease at some point in their life, some area of their life, they feel less than. They feel like they don't fit in. They feel like a square peg trying to fit in a round hole. And I drank that moonshine whiskey, Thomas, and I'm gonna tell you, I I probably took about 4 drinks. First drink I took, I thought, oh my goodness, I will never touch this stuff again. It's the worst tasting stuff I would put in my mouth. About 5 minutes, it got feeling a little warm. I thought I may try that again. And I guess it might have been, probably didn't take more than 3 or 4 drinks between until I started puking. But there was about a 5 minute period between the last drink of moonshine and puking that the whole world and everything in it was just right. I was 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And I chased that for 33 more years. I chased that same feeling for 34 more years, and I never did get it perfected. I'd always go too far or couldn't go far enough, one or the other.
Yeah.
And it was so that was my first drink I remember it like it was yesterday.
So that's interesting. You got sober almost 38 years ago, which would put me at about 6 years old. And but the interesting thing is I relate to your experience with alcohol the first time. I mean, it's the same. The details are a little different, but it's not everybody's story, but I, like you, remember my first drink vividly. I can hardly tell you the details of what I did yesterday, but I can remember that.
That won't get better, Thomas.
Heaven Hill vodka in seventh grade, just like you. And being little kids, we didn't know what we were doing, but we were excited about it. And Heaven Hill vodka and sweet tea. And I had a reputation for, I got sick a lot through my drinking career because I couldn't ever stop. And I would know that I was about to get sick and I couldn't stop. But like you said, that was a very small price to pay for the amount of relief that it gave me at that time. It was magical. It was everything I'd built it up to be and then some. And that doesn't happen for everybody.
Well, I tell you, Thomas, going forward a little bit, after that, I didn't drink every day because I couldn't, and but I stayed in trouble in high school because of my drinking. Every time I got in trouble growing up, I was drinking. I didn't get in trouble every time I drank, but every time I got in trouble, I was drinking. It was a result of drinking. Every car I wrecked was a result of I was drinking. I was drunk. Every car I wrecked, and which was I wrecked 3 cars, and all 3 of them, I was drinking all 3 times. So drinking has never done anything good for me except the ease and comfort that I got. I got the peace temporarily that out of drinking, the ease and comfort that my sobriety in a 12-step program gives me now.
Yeah.
And I didn't, like I said, I didn't get to drink every time I wanted, but in the back of my mind, that was the worst day of my life up until then when I was talking about the moonshine whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing I remembered was that 5 minute period. And I didn't drink every time after that, but I was in the back of my mind, when can I do it again? When can I do it again? It was always there.